Got it.
Okay, welcome to the Get, Sign, and Succeed podcast. This is episode number 5. My name is Bruce Badgley, along with Craig Cox, Andrew Cohen, and a very special guest this week, Owen Jordan, and Owen with Missouri S&T.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Okay, just getting things going for me here. Apologize for takes a little bit to get this show on the road here, as we've found out over the last couple of weeks. But anyway, Andrew, gosh, you've had a pretty busy day out at camps and what have you. But the topic this week is the transfer portal, and talk a little bit about how the transfer portal is really transforming recruiting from kids in high school, to get, into college too.
I think it's really interesting because it's obviously giving kids that are in college a better chance to transfer and an opportunity to perhaps play at a higher level. So for the college kid, I think it can be a good situation. However, as we all know, there's a lot of kids that are entering a portal and they never even get placed, which is kind of scary. I'm sure Owen, Coach Jordan probably has the exact statistics, or might. But with that being said, within my job as a guy that's here to help place student athletes in the best colleges possible, it's definitely become more competitive. So now guys can enter the portal, right? The transfer portal, and then the colleges can reach out to them directly right away. And so now what's happening is the college coaches are finding that, hey, if I can get an opportunity to get a kid from another school that I've already seen film on, who's 2 to 4 years older, a little bit more mature, physically, mentally, and it just seems that there are definitely a lot of colleges that are relying on that right now. I think every college is different in terms of philosophically how many they're going to take or not take, what position they're going to do it with. But my big belief, a lot of times it's on need, positional need, but a lot of times I think there are a lot of college coaches that are just getting all excited about this transfer portal. So in the recruiting itself, very honestly, I'm not trying to toot our own horn, and we really don't talk all that much about Get Recruited and how we help student athletes, but I think there is an even bigger need now, because if you don't get in the mix earlier and more intensely, it's more competitive than ever, because now, you're competing against thousands of kids in the portal, and then obviously you're still competing against other high school kids. So that's my 2 cents on the portal.
Well, let's go over to Coach Jordan there. You're currently using the portal. Talk to us a little bit about, what you see the portal as for, colleges and what you're using it for right now.
Yeah, Coach Cohen brought up a lot of valid and great points, and he really hit the nail on the head with a lot of this. In regards to the numbers, football specifically, there's almost 9,000 student athletes that have entered the transfer portal, and that's Division I, II, and III. Of those almost 9,000 athletes, 6,500 are still active in the transfer portal, meaning they haven't withdrawn their name, they haven't matriculated out. And so really, as a college coach, it's sped up the process of recruiting. We're, like Coach mentioned, we're having to evaluate 24, 25 class recruits so much earlier to see if we have a position at the high school level, if there's a player that we've evaluated that fits our program. And then a lot of coaches, including ourselves, if we don't find that fit early enough, are reaching out to the transfer portal. Right now, the university I'm at, Missouri S&T, we've only had 2 players enter the transfer portal, but we still have a need. We didn't completely fill our class with high school players, and so we're still in the process right now going through junior college players, transfer portal players, as we evaluate the 24 high school class. It's really drastically changed recruiting. If you don't have a surefire high school player that you're confident in, that you know he's going to translate to the next level well, you may not take a chance on him. You may wait and see what the portal offers you, and see if, because there's going to be players available in the transfer portal. You know the numbers are there right now. Some coaches are scared to take a risk on a high school guy when they can, like Coach mentioned, find a guy that's, handled a college course load. They've handled the schedule of the college program, and so it's almost more of a sure thing. And in recruiting, there's no sure thing, but guys are treating the portal as more of a sure thing with players that they've seen at the college level, and almost have a better evaluation tool.
Well, they're comparing, right? If I could just cut in really quick, I mean,
Yes, sir.
The college coach is looking at a kid that's already done it at a considerably higher level in college than compared to the high school kid where there's so much projections, if that makes sense. And tell me if I'm wrong. It seems like at your level, Division II guys, people that are on this call, is very, very strong football. There's a lot of good Division II programs that the FCS schools definitely don't want to play. But with that being said, in my experience, it seems like a lot of D2 schools are relying on portal, specifically at the quarterback position where they think they can get a guy. Is that an accurate statement?
That's incredibly accurate. One of the schools in our conference took 6 players out of the transfer portal at the quarterback position. They didn't sign a high school quarterback. They said they're going to bring in, and they brought him in mid-semester. They brought him in January. They said we're going to have an open competition, and what we saw from that, which is a trending in the wrong direction, some of those guys have already re-entered the portal because that competition didn't go their direction. And so they've gone from one Division II school to another, now for the next opportunity. And we say we're looking for portal guys, and it's going that direction, but there's still 6,000 athletes that haven't found an opportunity. And high school players are still being recruited. I believe, like Coach said, they're going to camps a lot earlier. They're going to get evaluated. They're hiring services to try to get their name out and compete with the portal. One of the things that the portal does too is there's more media availability for college athletes. I can go find a guy's bio. I can find, what he's studying, what his stats are. Some of the high schools that we're recruiting don't have the manpower, don't have the resources to provide some of those statistics. Some of the media, some of the film quality is not as good. And so transfer portal guys have more of an opportunity there. We were very fortunate. We're an engineering school. We signed a class of 28, with 25 of those being from the high school level. So we're trying to build a program still from the ground up, find guys that fit our culture, and then find a few pieces that complement those guys. One thing that we've talked about it in our program specifically is we're trying to build the culture in our locker room strong enough that whoever we bring in, the culture changes them and they don't change our culture. One of the negatives of the portal is you're bringing in so many guys at a time. There's so much influx from different cultures, programs, standards. You almost see the junior college effect that instead of competing towards a goal, they're competing against each other for a personal goal at times. There's so many competition in the spring and in fall camp. Instead of building depth and building a program early in camp, you're still having deep position battles with all the transfers that you brought in a lot of these programs.
Let me ask you another question, Owen, about the transfer portal. Isn't it pretty much just a database with like a name and maybe a position? And if there are details regarding that particular player, you have to go find them yourself, right? I mean, you just talked about the fact that all it's going to say is, hey, this is Joe Schmo. He's, got how many years of eligibility left. And that's about it, right?
Well, that's the challenging thing. You've listed things that we're not even fortunate enough to have. It'll be name, email, whether they're on academic aid, whether they're restricted by a conference rule, whether they're graduate transfer, whether they wish to be contacted, and that's it. We don't have a phone number. We don't have a position. We don't have anything else. There are certs that are providing that information, but as far as the NCAA and the transfer portal specifically, it's name, school, and where they were academically and whether they received aid. So there's a lot of manpower that goes into it, and the services that are running these transfer databases are pushing that as coaches are spending 500 less hours a week using their service compared to at our school. We haven't spent any money on the transfer portal databases. It's a lot of copy paste, Google search, find a kid, see what position he plays, see if there's a need and a fit. There's a lot of late night hours that go into just sorting through that portal and trying to go through and gather information before you ever get to talk to a recruiter, see film.
Yeah, let me ask you another question regarding the portal there too. The student athlete, when he goes into the portal, there's no reason as to why he is in the portal. Is that correct? I mean, like you said, he just has some pretty basic stuff, but there's no backstory on that particular person as far as why they're in there, correct?
No, there's no backstory. There's no notes. The only notes that are made are once they've matriculated through the portal, it'll say where they signed, whether they're on aid, and that's as far as it goes. So we have to spend a lot of time contacting the coaching network and finding out from guys that hopefully know someone at the school or it's a further process to move along.
I had one other question here. When you talked about one of the items is whether they're on aid. If a student athlete is on aid at a school and goes into the transfer portal, is he basically just like retroactively just saying, that's it for his aid with that school? He's pretty much put the school on notice that he's leaving? Or does he have an opportunity, say like, some of these guys that enter the NBA draft and then don't get drafted and have an opportunity to go back or what have you? Do they have an opportunity to go back from where they started?
They do. Once they enter the transfer portal or submit their name to compliance, the university has 48 hours to submit them to the portal. And then it's the university and athletic department's discretion on whether they keep them on aid. There was a story here in the Division II level, and I won't say the university or anything, but they had a player that entered the portal 3 times this semester or since last season. So after the season, he entered the portal, coaches talked to him, kept him on aid, he withdrew. Before spring ball, they brought in recruits at his position. He entered the portal for a second time, then withdrew. Then he went through spring practice, didn't get the results he wanted, and entered the portal for a third time at the same university.
Craig, do you have a coach? Craig, do you have a question for Owen on the portal or Billy, anything? Yeah, go ahead.
A couple comments, and my concern, because I'm all about, I want to help fix these graduation rates, and this is going in the opposite direction. He's talking about 9,000 students got into the portal and only 65. But there's still 6,500, right? 6,500 students still not placed. It's May, right? It's towards the end. When I was a coach, recruiting was almost done, except for the little, once in a while you get a little scraggler here and there. But the 2023 season's right around the corner. People are going to be coming to summer school and starting camp in a few months. It's just scary to see that many students still in the transfer portal and they're not going to get placed anywhere. So, what are they going to do? We already have an issue with over 1 million college students dropping out of school every year. I just don't see where this is helping us. And me, is it really helping the young men where they can get into every time they get upset, I'm going to go to compliance and get in the transfer portal, and then you got to appease me so I can stay here. I don't think that's helping the game itself. I don't think it's helping the students realize, as far as growing up and what they're going to get once they leave college and in life. We don't get that opportunity. quit my job and go home and wait for the call to come. He's gonna pay me more money, and I go back. It don't work that way. So I've always been concerned about the transfer portal. I thought that it was open up a can of worms that was going to create problems, that unforeseen problems later on. I know it can benefit some people and it obviously benefits some teams, but I think for the overall good of football itself, I'm concerned about it, and these numbers just show it to me. So that's all. That's my little rant.
Yeah, Andrew, did you have any questions for Owen?
I don't really have any. I want to make a general comment and then hear his perspective on it. As a parent, excuse me, and a former college coach, my biggest concern is the amount of kids that are entering, and they're basically giving up the opportunity that they have at the school they're already at. And a lot of them have no idea of what the end result is going to be. So I do know if you're, the Division I guys, they find out, their high school coach or someone is communicating with other schools. And if you play, FBS football, you're going to get signed by another school. But those aren't the guys that you worry about, I don't think. I think it's more the Division II or the FCS guys that are leaving, and they have no idea that they're really not all that marketable and that they're at a good spot that they should stay at. Owen, any thoughts on what my comments are?
Absolutely. That's why a service like what Coach Cox is providing and the mentorship that he provides, like you said, they see in front of the camera. They see what gets put out on Twitter, gets put out on 24/7 Rivals, all these recruiting sites. They see the success stories, but like you said, whether we want to admit it or not, there's contact that's happening before these Division I players are entering the portal. They know what their options are before they ever enter, and that's at the FBS level. It's the Power Five. It's the Group of Five All-Americans that have all had this option placed in front of them, and the Division II guys, Division III guys, and in between are entering it without any end result in mind. They don't have a plan. They don't know the steps. They don't know who to contact. They really don't have any advisement throughout the process. And unfortunately, a lot of times, once you enter the portal, the staff that recruited you, they aren't helping you in the process. You said we're checking out. I'm turning my keys. They're done in the process with you. They're not trying to help you get somewhere else. They don't have someone in their corner that's advocating for them, that's trying to help them in the process. We're saying, hey, slow down. You've hit some adversity. Here's how we handle it. And
yeah,
I do have another question for him as well.
Sure, go ahead.
You heard of programs, coaches at certain programs telling kids, high school kids, hey, come here and we'll be able to help you in the portal if you decide to go to the portal. Have you ever heard that before?
I haven't directly. I have heard that lower level schools, especially non-scholarship schools, are using that as, hey, we're a platform. Come get college film, players that they may not be able to recruit normally. If you're going to be able to play against college level competition, you don't have the offer you want, come here and we'll help you move on after you show out in your first year or two.
Almost
Yeah,
like a junior college thing, sounds like, right? I mean, basically, you've got 4-year programs now acting almost like a JUCO then.
Yeah, and there was a junior college that we sent a coach to this year that had not had a college coach on their campus the entire recruiting cycle.
Wow.
From December until last week of April, they had not had any coach step foot in their door.
And that's because of the transfer portal. Colleges now are relying on the transfer portal rather than the junior college funnel to bring kids in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're like Coach said, they're using 4-year schools as junior colleges. smaller level schools as feeder schools.
Wow,
Coach,
that
I got
is
a question real quick. On you said the number of guys that had aid. Do you know what the number of guys still in the portal that had aid and then got in the portal?
Yeah, I've got my numbers here real quick. Let me see. There were 5,300 scholarship players that entered the portal. And there are, let me see, of those 5,000, I believe 1,800
Wow.
or just under 1,800.
So almost 2,000 of those students had scholarships.
Yeah.
And now they're sitting out
And
in the
they're
portal.
walking
And
away.
if they go anywhere, they're probably going to pay.
Excuse my ignorance. Are you saying, when you say 5,300, is that since the portal started or this past year? I apologize.
No, you're fine. That is a 1-year cycle. There's been 5,300 students, 2022 and 2023 that were on aid, and only 1,500 that were on aid have matriculated through the portal.
So 15,3, so less than 33% are getting placed?
Yes.
that is
And
There are
the
leading
number
aid
you gave
scholarships.
us, sorry, the number you gave us before, the 9,000, the total number, is that only this year too?
That's only this year.
that's a lot.
And that's only football. When you look at all sports, there's 31,929 athletes this year that have entered the portal.
And those are athletes that are competing for college scholarships, just like all these athletes from high schools are. And that is just turning into a gigantic mosh pit of information that, quite honestly, my gosh, how do you sort through all of that? I mean, oh my.
Yeah, I mean, to process the information, you break it down by what we've done is we've broken it down by schools that we know a coach at. We see if there's anyone there, by conference, by division, but there's no efficient way to do it. And I don't think players understand this either. There's no magic button that says I need a defensive lineman. Let me hit this portal button and it's going to pop up all the names that fit my school, and
It
we're going
just-
to pick you, and it's going to be a great fit, and you're going to be out of the portal within a week, and things are going to be really good.
Is it at least alphabetized?
It is at least alphabetized. You still have to click a button to get that too. So we're just counting up number of clicks and number of hours I've got to spend in front of a screen to do it.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's very concerning. There's like, I'm a little bit like Coach Cox as a parent and a former coach, that that many scholarship athletes, 5,300, are entered this past year that were given scholarships, risking, that scholarship for an unknown, and only 1,500 of them are actually going somewhere. That's scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really need, if I can educate anyone, any of these kids in the portal, it's like, or any kid in college, you better not go into the portal until you know that you're going to have an opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Yeah.
disappointing. You're a kid, and then
It is
what do you do?
disappointing and what have you. Listen, I don't want to really end on a low note, but just about out of time. We're going to have to obviously circle back with this again. It seems like each particular topic that we roll through in the podcast here will definitely circle back. I want to tell you what, great information from someone who's using the portal with great statistics, and just mind-blowing when, as you talked about, the number of scholarship athletes across all sports in this portal is just off the charts. I'll tell you what, Owen, thank you very much for your time tonight. We're definitely going to have to put this back in the rotation to talk about the transfer portal in one upcoming Get Signed and Succeed podcast. Owen, thank you very much, man.
Thank you,
Thank
Coach
you
George.
guys.
Hey,
All right.
Owen, that was really, really eye-opening, some of those statistics. I appreciate your candor and your time this evening. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
Well,
been
I
telling
appreciate you guys.
kids, I've been telling student athletes a number considerably lower than the 9,000, but I mean, there's a lot of competition now. Coach Badge, I just want to, before I get off, I want to mention, one of the guys I work with at Get Recruited Consulting, Coach Brady, is having a showcase at Hamburg Area High School. That's May 23rd, over 30 colleges that will be attending. It's a really, really good event where you'll get noticed by a lot of schools and have a chance to compete in front of them. There we go. So you can use the QR right there. I got to be very honest here. This is Coach Cox's great work here, making all this information. So
I
thank
think
you.
Coach Jordan might have left us, but he trained me up on a lot of the graphics. He's done a couple of my logos up here behind me. Coach Jordan had. He trained me up, so he really helped me learn how to use this stuff.
Awesome. The
Yeah,
other
that's
thing I want to make sure, sorry.
No, nice facility there, Hamburg. Mr. Menapace there, who does a great job, athletic director up there at Hamburg High. Allowing use up there, and just a great facility up there in Hawk Hill, right, Andrew?
It is really a nice place, and it's really a great opportunity. The camp will be very well run and organized, extremely well attended. We won't have too many players there where you're not getting repetitions. I think it's a no-brainer. It'll be the third year in a row we've had it there. And Badge, you've been there each time. Every camp we have there, everyone raves about how good it is. So let's get you signed up and get an opportunity to be seen by a lot of great colleges at the Division III level, Division II level, and the FCS level. I mean, we got some really good schools like a Lehigh and a Lafayette and a Towson and an Albany that play at the FCS level. The other thing, if we can bring up here, Coach Badge, is just the links for Coach and myself.
Yeah.
I think people that are on this show are not taking advantage of something that could really be helpful, and that's an academic talk with Coach, with Coach Cox, where he'll answer any of your questions, preparation questions, study skills, whatever it might be pertaining to academics. And for me, it would be, I would love to do a film evaluation and answer your specific football recruiting questions, and even review your status right now on social media, which is, you guys heard last week from Coach Barone how important that is. But we really think, we love sharing information, and you're crazy not to take advantage of this. So please contact Coach or myself, Coach Cox or myself. What's up here? We don't have Coach Cox's stuff up here?
Right in the middle.
It's
Right in the middle.
And they're pretty blue.
So I'm sorry, I lost it in the blue. So what's the reason they're going to reach out to Coach Badgley? They want to learn how to do the full body workout at 6 a.m. What do they?
Well, if we have business owners out there who would like to get involved in, just what we're doing, putting together some podcasts, also advertising on high school sporting events, also in really marketing your business in the sports arena, on how to improve your Google search numbers so that basically your indexing improves, so that when people go to Google, that your business is at the top of the list. And that's really everything when it comes to Google. How often are we just clicking, the one of the top three when we're doing anything? And that's really what Sports Solutions marketing is all about, is getting more clicks on websites and getting it across all of the social media ventures, both Instagram and Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. So that's
Definitely sign up for an appointment with any of us. They're all going to be beneficial. And then definitely follow us on Twitter. We definitely post a lot of educational information that can help you guys. Coach Cox is unbelievable information that he shares for free, that I know that if people read it and put the time in, they get a lot of information. So.
Well, Badger,
Yeah.
you had some questions. You had somebody with some questions for us to answer.
I do. We do. We have a quick question and answer session here. I'm going to try and get.
And I'm going to be reaching out to you about that 6 a.m. workout myself.
All you got to do is follow me on Twitter. I mean,
okay. I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, you should see what I'm doing every single day. So anyway,
but you're not over 60, Coach Cox, so you're not allowed to do it.
Oh, I got you. I'm getting there.
That's all right. All right. I'm going to get my buddy Jason Spitler. He's the defensive coordinator for Fleetwood, which is the Fleetwood Tigers, which is just outside of town here. So we're going to get Jason on here. He's going to talk a little bit, guys. And when he's done with his question, I'll stop this and then you can answer. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Can you hear that all right?
I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything? Let's see here. You can't hear anything?
I hear you.
All right, hang on. We'll try this again. Gosh.
I can't help but laugh when we have our technical issues. No offense to you, but I know it's tough. It's just
no
fun.
offense, but
it's fun. Oh, I'm not the one. I don't know any of this mess.
Oh, here we go. Now you can probably hear, right?
Here we go. Let's try it.
Technically, the game for the high school game.
Okay.
Years. I've always been in it, always followed it. I've always kept up with coaching clinics, and I watch everything that I possibly can. And of course, every Saturday and Sunday, I'm the greatest couch coach in the world. So I've always been in it and around it. But my journey started about 3 years ago after COVID.
Try this again. Hang on.
I wanted to get involved in some way. The reason why I couldn't.
Oh, well. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear from Fleetwood anyway.
It's a learning experience. We're getting better as we go.
We're sorry about this, guys. You know what? I think it's a great idea. What's that?
They thought they was just getting recruiting and football and life skills information. They know they was going to be entertained as they go as well. But that's part of it. That's why I love what we do.
Yeah, that is part of it here. Just give me 1 second to try and get that file back, okay?
Okay. Quit while we're behind.
Yeah, quit while we're behind. A little technical difficulty here in trying to get our question and answer there. I had that all set up, and darn it, we missed it. I guess we'll have to get Jason on next week. Sorry, gang. Kind of a rough ending there at the end, but I tell you what, it was just mind-boggling.
Oh,
all the information that Owen gave us regarding the transfer portal.
No doubt.
So that's going to do it, I guess, for this week's show. Gosh, we went about 40 minutes here. And next week, what is next week's topic, guys? We were just talking about that here this week. What do we start at next week?
I don't have that right in front of me. Do you, Coach?
I'm looking.
Scrambling, I know.
Well,
it was making a highlight.
We switched it because we had.
Was it choosing the camps to attend?
Yeah, we're going to do choosing camps, and then after that, how to make your best highlight film, which is so important. So important.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Well, we'll get that information out on social media. Many of you will get emails, I think it'll be a great show.
Well, and I do believe as well that, the more that we get into some of these items that, we're finding that these shows are just not long enough for some of the topics, I mean, that's the really crazy part is that there's so much information that we can get on all these particular items that I'm just shocked that it's going to take more than one show here to do that. So, but anyway, all right. I have no idea why that didn't come up my video here, but we'll try that again next week with Jason. Gentlemen, thank you so much for a great show.
Thank you.
And next
Thank
week
you
on that
so much.
highlight, that'll be a really good time, and I think one that everybody will look forward to. So until next time, I'm Bruce Badgley for Craig Cox and Andrew Cohen. Take care.